Where is my champagne?
Where's my wine? Where's my diamond ring? Where is my gin and tonic? Where's my martini?
Welcome back to another LGBT damage control video with your favorite non-leftist lesbian. I don't know why I keep doing this in my head. Me. If you are new here, subscribe, because we are one of the only LGBT channels on YouTube that criticizes their own community when they're full of shit. I actually don't have too much to say on this specific video. If they're adults and they want to play dress up, they want to act like the opposite sex, like whatever. The reason I wanted to comment on this and add it to this video is because just with the simple fact that queer culture has literally soaked its way into everything. I mean, it's made its way into the Down syndrome community. Are they a community? I guess. I mean, it's gotten so bad that queer kids on TikTok are misappropriating and misusing labels left and right. Not only with LGBT stuff, but with mental illnesses. Kids are faking having Tourettes Syndrome and are being called out on it, which is honestly kind of hilarious. Oh God. Moving on. Send me to Canada.
Alright, so the first thing I notice is, yeah, this does scream very fake. A lot of the, like, the putting the hat in your head, like, I want to go to Canada, that doesn't happen. Also, another thing is, if this were happening to me, and, like, I were having such severe tics while trying to package something, I would not be happy like she is. I would be pissed the fuck off.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
And you guessed it, most of these people, most of these kids have the word queer or non-binary or some kind of LGBT hashtag in their profiles. Props to this guy, by the way, who actually has Tourette's Syndrome, who's been calling the bullshit out. And once again, why is it almost always white, middle class, upper middle class, overweight females? Kim Klacik made a fantastic tweet about this, and she was actually referencing trans kids. She was talking about fake trans kids, or kids faking being trans, but this can actually be applied to faking having mental illnesses as well. She said, why aren't kids in the hood transitioning to the opposite sex? I know the answer, just wanted to see if you knew. Comment below. And my friend Sarah, who's been on this channel a number of times, who has her own YouTube channel, you can check her out, replied to this and the tweet went viral. Well, because the typical demographic is upper middle class white kids of progressive parents for two reasons. They have time and money to worry about such things, and have been conditioned to believe through critical theory that they are the oppressor and there is no way they can escape that status. So they see this as a way to join an oppressed class for which they are celebrated for instead of condemned. It's the theory between critical race theory and queer theory, and I could not agree with this more. I mean, this is all obviously very true. If you don't have any actual struggles in life, or very many, and you don't want to be seen as a cis straight white person, make some struggles up. Somebody commented and said, the same could be said about poorer people around the world. The same could be said why Americans in the 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries didn't. They have and had real problems and struggles, the frontier life, etc. Didn't have time or money to be so comfortable to worry about such nonsense. And for those of you who aren't quite understanding me just yet, let me be a little bit more specific. I'm not saying that being trans, that actually being trans, is more typical in wealthier white suburban females. I'm saying that being trans or being queer is. I mean, look at the current culture climate. Queerness has seeped its way into everything, including religion. And as you've seen me cover on this channel in a video or two in the past, you know that religions at this point are so desperate for people to join that they're going along with it all.
God is non-binary. The Church of England is considering removing all gendered language around God, and thank goodness. You know, if man's created in God's image and woman is created in God's image, then God must be trans.
Okay, God isn't trans. God is love. God doesn't have a gender or a lack of gender. God doesn't have a sex or a sexual orientation. In my opinion, God is simply a huge energy field that we all exist in and that we are all a part of.
Everyone deserves the chance to relate to God on their own terms. God is for everyone of every gender.
Stop making everything queer and trans just to make yourself feel more valid. God isn't a black, non-binary, queer, disabled, trans woman. God isn't oppressed. God is love. Again, God is love. God is knowing oneself. If you actually believe in God or a higher power or spirituality, whatever you want to call it, aura, energy, the universe, know that we are all an essential part of it. What makes us any less valuable or less part of the universe than the clouds, than the stars? Technically, we are all just major bursts of energy fields. If you look at our atoms and look at everything super, super close under a microscope, nothing about us is even technically solid. But I'm sure this, of course, will still trigger a bunch of Gay Incorporated. Because vicarious trauma is now a thing. Written by someone at The Advocate, which I'm not surprised. This was originally intended, I'm reading the article, this was originally intended for people dealing with the emotions surrounding, Club Q, which actually, of course, makes a lot of sense. But of course, people are using this in the most ridiculous ways possible. Vicarious trauma is a type of secondary trauma felt by a mental health professional who has dealt with a client for an extensive amount of time. Helping the client deal with and resolve their trauma over months of treatment sometimes instills a special kind of empathy in the mental health professional. The term was first coined in 1980 and is also called the cost of caring, meaning providing care for patients. Mental health sometimes comes at a cost. And I think this is kind of one of those things where people should just say even therapists need a therapist for this exact reason. And I think all I have to say about this to the current LGBT community is, what about vicarious trauma from being called egg producers? Using egg producers, not female, say scientists in call to phase out binary language. Disgusting in my opinion. Experts say that other terms that could be problematic include man, woman, mother, and father, as well as survival of the fittest. What about the vicarious trauma that I am feeling right now from the word woman being changed even in the Cambridge Dictionary?
The Cambridge Dictionary has changed the definition of the word woman to include, quote, an adult who lives and identifies as female, though they may have been said to have a different sex at birth, unquote.
Personally, I still think that trans women and women are best. I used to be okay with the word trans and cis, but now I just don't think cis fits. And if any of you follow this girl, Savvy, she's fantastic. She explains my perspective at the moment.
1 minute y'all want to differentiate, but then when we give y'all the language and terminology to say, hey.
From what I have learned over the last couple of weeks, the use of the term cis has nothing to do with biological men and women, but everything to do with validating trans men and women. And that's where a lot of women are getting pissed off. Why do I need to redefine my identity in order for you to make sense of yours? Here is the awkward truth, and this might piss some people off. In order for trans women to be included in the word woman, we have to redefine it. Woman is a biological reality, an adult human female. A girl is a human female child. But this entire thing is about turning woman into an umbrella term where you have trans women and cis women. The problem is, if you have trans women under here, then this doesn't make sense. So in order for this to make sense, we ixnay the biological reality and turn woman into an identity. But we can't leave women here because that's not fair, so women who were here are being pushed here. But for most women, woman is not an identity, it's an existence, and that's the pushback.
And of course, all of these feelings that people are having are very real. Doesn't mean I think they're healthy or good, but they are real feelings. And you know what else is real? Multigenders. Kid you not. Multigenders are multiple personality individuals whose personalities have differing genders. This should not be confused with gender fluid individuals whose singular personality has multiple genders. The reason I wanted to post this in this video is because I critique gender ideology and LGBT culture and stuff for a living, and I could not even understand what this person was tweeting. I'm just saying. Also, just quick note, this is apparently coming from a doctor, maybe not a real doctor, at least I hope not. And you know what? Sometimes there are just no words because the way they worded it is perfect. Here is the truth about where the LGBT community is at currently.
So if I was like hiring and I saw pronouns, here's what I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna assume you're obviously very liberal. So I'm gonna assume you're one of those people that is super far left. Hey, I'm gonna assume you're not a very hard worker. You are either a female or you're a probably not straight guy. So everything in the office is going to have to cater to you, your feelings, your needs, and your emotions. So everyone around you is not going to be able to be themselves and walk on eggshells. Why would anyone want someone like you unless everyone's like you? in a work environment, you're going to be the laziest person, you're going to be the most entitled, complain the most, and I think you're going to be the first to sue.
And you know what? I'm going to end the video here because I think it nails it. I actually think the current LGBT community is, the damage that we're doing to it is similar to the damage that the Me Too movement did to women. I think it made people and companies more afraid to hire women, to interact with women. And what the queer community is doing, the extreme woke queer community, of course, it will make more people afraid to hire LGBT people, afraid to interact with us, less likely to give a shit about understanding us. And you know what? I can't blame them. But that's all I had to say for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And you know what? Go and give me a follow over on my locals page. It is ariel.locals.com. I post a ton of content there that I never post here. And I'll see you guys back here on Sunday with a brand new video. Until then, I love you. Love yourselves. Bye.